Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and did you know that IKEA has a line of craft supplies? Here's the truth. They used to have a pretty large line of paper goods, stationery, stickers. They had a lot of things that they no longer carry. But I thought I would come and check out what they still have available in the craft supply area, which is now located in the kids department only. They used to have a whole gift wrapping stationery area over near home storage, but as of right now, all of the pieces that I could find were in the kids area. Being in the kids area, of course, these are obviously geared towards smaller children, but there are some nice things that you could probably use in your craft supply area. Here's this paper set that I really liked because of all the different colors. You can see there are multiple weights available in the different shades of color and some different sizes, which I thought was nice. And for $5.99, a pretty good set. They have some watercolors that my kids have always loved using. These watercolors, not the best for in your journaling. They tend to be a little bit chalky, so not the ones I would go for as far as my art supplies, but I know my kids have really gotten a lot of use out of them, and I happen to love the watercolor container. I also love that they have started creating refills just for the container. So you have this kind of bin snap-on container that holds your brushes and stuff, but now you can buy just the lid to kind of refill. There are certainly some paints available from tempera paint to some of this that is a little bit more like slick paint, and it even has some metallics with a wide variety of colors available. Now, for some kid craft supplies that I use in my area all the time, check out these markers. So I like the shape of the tip of these markers, that you can get a thin line and a bold line. I find that very intriguing. They had two different sizes of sets. They had for only $2.99 that first set, and then they have this larger set that was $3.99, and look at all the colors you get. I think this is cheaper than a lot of the Crayola markers, and I like the different style of tips, so these might be worth giving a try. I might just pick these up. There's also chalk, which I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because chalk gives me the heebie-jeebies, but of course this would be great for coloring outside, on the sidewalk, things like that. And then these caught my eye. These are colored pencils, but not just standard colored pencils. Those are watercolored color pencils. And so that is such a fun idea, kind of some different shades. It's interesting to me. I feel like this is a newer product. I haven't seen the watercolor pencils before. They do have crayons and things like that available as well. I'm not going to be giving those a try, but let me show you the coolest storage piece I found. This is artwork storage. It's basically an artist's tube. I think it's decorated super cute with all the splatters, and you can open it up, roll up your art pieces, and store them in here. I think that is so handy, such a good idea for kind of preserving some of your kids' artwork, or maybe just organizing some of your own artwork within your craft room. All right, so I have picked up a few things that I want to check out a little bit closer at home. I'll bring you guys along and we'll kind of see what we can come up with. I love that I can try these different supplies for not very much. The checkout's super easy, just scan and go. And yes, I know many of these are geared toward kids, or some of you don't live near an IKEA, but knowing whether these little things are nice to add to your cart if you have made the trek to IKEA, I think they're fun to see other people try. So let's try some markers and some paper and some watercolored pencils. Let's go. Hey y'all, so I did pick up 3 items from IKEA so we could kind of check out just what the craft items are like. I know I suspect that these are probably like kid style craft items, and that's fine, but they're really good prices, and sometimes they have the types of items that kind of extend your craftability. So let's just give it a check. So this first set, so this is all in like a pad, it's all stuck together. This is slightly thicker. So what I'm feeling, this feels like a marker paper. It feels thicker than your average copy paper. Right here, I like the colors. These are your pastel colors. And then this set right here, also a pad all together. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be thicker than your copy paper. But I think the colors are fun. I happen to really like this purpley color that they have going here. The red looks a little bit orange to me. Pretty good yellow, a couple different greens, a couple different blues, your black and your white. Great for your kids. This is going to be a large variety for them to get to use maybe over the summer, putting them in the craft room. You can divide up your paper pads to the different colors, like rip off the different colors so it's easier for them to get to. Love that. And then we have this is your white kind of construction paper-esque piece. It's a lot of paper, you guys. You could easily use this in your journaling and planning. It's not going to be any different than some of the lighter cardstocks that you can get at a hobby store, but you get a lot of colors for a pretty good price, which I think is awesome. So that is the paper that I picked up. I also picked up a set of the markers, and I was pretty excited to give these a try. So let me open them up. Something I don't like is they don't have a container that you can like keep them in, if that makes sense. Sorry for the noise. So once you take them out of here, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to store them. So it's not a container that you can like return them to that container. So you just have them all in this big plastic sheet. Yes, I went ahead and bought the one with a ton of colors because I thought that would be fun to give a try. Let's use some of this paper. We'll see how we do. You know, I feel like this paper, the one that is on the kind of rainbow color, is a little bit thicker than this paper. So we're actually going to try this one. And let's give it a try. Let's start with the purple. You can see it has this kind of shape that comes to a point. So if you're using these for art, you can do a very fine point right there. Get some pretty fine little drawing right there. You can also come to the side, get a thicker look. It feels pretty firm to me, so it feels like you're not going to mess up the tip too much. As far as doing like hand lettering, where you can start thin and then go, these are certainly possible. It's not the easiest because it's so firm, but you can certainly get that look of a hand lettered piece, which is nice, and I like the size. So let's try out some of the colors. We have this purple, nice, and then let me just give all these a try so we can kind of swatch them out. All right, so I really like the color variety. It did have some, it's not bleed through, it's more of a shadowing. So I think maybe on a thinner paper, it might bleed through. I like the variety of colors. I like all the neutrals that they have. I like some of the more unusual colors, like this particular brown really looks more like a plum purple to me. And I really like this blue right here, a little bit of a different kind of color scheme. The ones I don't like, the reds don't feel like a true red. They feel a little bit more on the orange side, and this is kind of a salmon-ish color, so I didn't really like some of the reds, but I think it's a good variety. Certainly for your kids, this is going to really do really well for them, but I think it could also work for your own crafting. I feel like these would be wonderful to use in journaling, maybe in your planner. Really double check to see if they're going to go through the page before you go all in on using these on any type of journaling or planner or anything like that, to see if they will bleed through. Okay, the other thing I bought were these colored pencils. The front of it made me think that these are watercolor pencils. So we're going to give it a try. Let's open them up. Let's see how they do. Watercolor pencils are so fun to use. Your kids will really, really enjoy them. It even comes with a brush. So this one you get 10 colors. You get the pencil sharpener, which is really helpful. Comes with a brush. Let's test out some of these colors. So we have a black right here. Colors very similar to how you would suspect a colored pencil would do. It's not super fine. I think because it's a larger pencil, you're going to have trouble getting a really fine kind of tip on there. Let's check out the green and the other green. I'd like to see if the shades really change, because you'll buy some brands where the shades don't really, they'll look like two different blues, but they won't really be two different blues once you color them, if you know what I mean. So I like that you can kind of make sure. It's an interesting variety of colors, pretty basic. Let's check out this. It's a pretty good red, orange, and yellow. So a lot of greens, a lot of blues, orange and yellow. Now let's add water. So I'm just going to use a simple water brush here. Let's start with the yellow and see how, make sure my brush gets wet here. Yes, so it definitely reacts a lot. Look how much I can spread out that yellow. I mean, it was a pretty heavy color. Let's add. So it takes a little bit to get rid of some of those drawing lines, but you can see it also allows you to kind of blend the colors, which is nice. Let's kind of blend in some pink here. Yeah, it's taking me a little bit of work, and once the water starts to add, it really changes the saturation. This is not blending quite as well as your like standard watercolors might, but it really takes some working with the brush to, but that's fun to kind of change up. You can see how you're going to still see some of the lines because it's not, it takes a while for all the little pieces to dissolve. So in that way, it reminds me a little bit more of like Neocolors, because that's the experience I have with Neocolors. Let's see how the black does. It really lightens that a lot as you start to spread it out. But I mean, see how you have those lines? It's just because those little pieces are not totally fading. Now let's test it. Just wipe this off in here. Let's just drop. If we just drop, so that's, you know what it is? It's like the distressed crayon. So you can drop water on it. It's not actually going to do anything. It has to have that motion to it. So you have to be able to work it through. So just dropping water, not going to do much, if anything, but you can start to work it, and then that will change and make those watercolors react, which can be really fun to play with. That is super cool that they have those, that they're so affordable to try. So I think they're definitely, you know, worth it for your kiddos to try something new, try some color blending, things like that. All right, so all in all, I think they're fun deals. I'm a little bit sad that they don't have all of the same craft supplies that they used to offer over at Ikea, but I think these are still fun for your kiddos to try, for you to try as you're kind of expanding some different things. If you haven't gotten to try watercolor pencils, this would certainly be a set if you're at Ikea to pick up, so you can give it a try and kind of see what happens. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you all so much for all of your support. If you haven't checked out Patreon, it's a fun place where you can support your favorite creators. You can get early access to videos, exclusive content, fun challenges, all kinds of stuff happening over on Patreon. You can find a link to my Patreon page in the description box below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.